you guys, welcome back to K&KInspiredCreations with Latara. So today I'm going to show you guys how I made this fake cake busted canvas for mom. So I started off by grabbing one of these blank canvases from the Dollar Tree. I think they're still $125, and of course took all the wrapper off of it. And then I also got some of these foam rounds that you can find at Dollar Tree. They're a 2-pack. And I ended up cutting them in half because since this is going to be on a canvas, I only really need half of it. So you can make 2 of these when just buying 2 packs of this, or you can just use 1 pack to make 1 of these, or however you want to do it. But yeah, so I ended up just cutting them in half. I used a knife for that, and then I'm going to try to match up which ones look the most similar. I think I used 6 halves. That's how tall of a cake I wanted. I didn't cut it perfectly in the across or whatever, so that's why I had to pick some that were similar. So then I ended up just taking some hot glue so that I could glue it to the canvas to get everything started. And then I ended up grabbing some air dry clay. So I started off with some black air dry clay. You can get this from Designs by Janira on Facebook, or you can get some from Amazon as well. And so all I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of playing with it a little bit to kind of warm it up. As long as you warm it up, most of the time it will not crack when it dries. So you definitely want to take time to do that. And then I'm kind of just flattening it out. I have a rolling pin that I like to use specifically for my crafts and stuff like that. So that's just what I'm using this for. And I'm just kind of rolling it out so that it's big enough to go over my entire cake. And so I am going to pretty much just kind of put it on there and just mold it to the size of the cake. This tool right here I did get from Dollar Tree. I want to say I got it out of not the automotive, but like the tool section or whatever. And it's really good when you're trying to cut clay, but it's like a big piece or whatever. It makes it smoother. And so I'm just kind of pushing it up against the foam or the cake dummy or whatever you want to call it, just to kind of get the shape that I want. And then I'm just cutting off any excess. That's pretty much it. And I do want to take a second and thank you so much for watching my videos. You can be watching anybody else's videos on the planet, but you're watching mine, and I'm so appreciative of that. If this is your first time here, welcome to my little pastel bakery corner of the internet. And if you're returning, hey fake bake bestie, thank you so much for coming back. Here we create fake baked desserts, seasonal decor, and fun DIY pieces that look good enough to eat. So if that is your vibe, go ahead and subscribe. And so I am still just kind of cutting off the pieces just to get my cake looking, perfect, I guess. You don't have to do all that I'm doing. A lot of this stuff will be covered up with embellishments as well as the busted canvas. But sometimes I just like to get it a certain way, if that makes sense. So the next thing I did is I did grab some white air dry clay. As you can see, this one is by Designs by Janira because I wanted this to be a little bit fluffy. The purpose of that is because this is going to be like my drip that goes on the side of my cake. And so I did pretty much the same thing, just kind of played with it until I kind of warmed up the clay. And now I'm using my rolling pin to kind of roll it out. I am using both of those rulers on the side because I want the clay to stay a certain amount of thickness, and so that's what I use. But I am using this extra large cookie cutter that I ended up buying. If I can find it, I will link it in the description. I genuinely can't at the moment think of where I got this from, but if I figure it out, I'll definitely put it in the description. So I did cut it down to I think what I thought would work really well for this cake, and just kind of added it to the cake. And it looks good. I really like the black on the white or the white on the black for this particular cake. And so I found these little cake round thingies that you use for real cakes somewhere in a large pack. It was really cheap. And I just wanted to make sure that the bottom of it had like some type of cake stand or whatever on the bottom, mainly because the bottom wasn't really, it had nothing really going on to it with it, it's just kind of boring and bland. So I'm gonna go ahead and put something down there so it's a cake. And I did use just some hot glue and some tacky glue that you can get from Dollar Tree. So a lot of these materials you can get from Dollar Tree to make this, and it's not expensive. So I'm about to use some of the like icing molds that I got off of Temu. You can find a ton of molds on Temu at a really great price if you don't mind waiting for it. And I'm going to be using some more white icing for the little bit of embellishments that I'm going to do right now, using those molds or whatever. And before I use the mold, so this little tool thingy right here, I actually got it from Dollar Tree out of the toy section. And all it does is just makes like a little snake, but it has a little bit of texture to it. So it actually looks really cute. It's just not like a boring snake if I rolled it out myself, but it has texture to it because of it coming through that little thingy. And yeah, I like to use this a lot when I'm making certain things. So I made a couple of these using the white air dry clay, and then I grabbed some of the black air dry clay and made a couple of strings of snake strings or whatever you want to call it as well, because I want to use them together. So the reason why I got both is because I wanted to kind of twist them together to give like a cute little embellishment as like some of the icing on a cake or whatever. So that's pretty much what I'm doing here, just kind of get them about the same size, same length, and I wanted it to be long enough to go around that top part of the cake where the drip is, just to make it look cute. So I am using some silicone glue that you can get off of Walmart, Amazon, either one, or you can use tacky glue because I believe tacky glue dries clear. And I meant that this is going at the bottom, like the bottom layer of icing. But I am going to also use that last little bit that was left over and just kind of continue to twist it up and make it to where it's long enough to go around the drip. I wanted it to be really, really thin so that it wasn't like, you know, too thick and too noticeable, but it just kind of added a cute little embellishment to that part of the cake. And as you can see, it's going to be basically a black and white cake. And you can do this cake in any color, pink, purple, pink and purple, all pink, all black, whatever. I just, for some reason, just wanted to do a cute little black and white cake at this point. So I'm playing with it again, just kind of warm it up using those rulers to kind of guide how thick my clay ends up being, because I wanted a certain thickness. And my goal is to start making the bow for the cake. So I do have these circular cookie cutters that I like to use when making my bows. This is the only way that I know how to make bows using air dry clay, so I can just kind of show you this way, but you can always Google and find other ways, maybe easier ways to make it. And so these pieces that I'm cutting out now, this is going to be like the tail of the bow that I'm going to use for the bow. I want it to be a decent size bow. That's why I use that size circular cutout or cookie cutters, but you can use smaller ones or bigger ones if you have them. And so I'm going to use scissors to kind of cut out the little, what do you call it, the little triangle out of it to make it look like a little tail for when I make my bow. And I'm going to do that with both of them. And they are a little thick, so I am going to eventually, not right at this moment, but I am going to eventually like smush them down a little bit, just to kind of give it, just so that they're not too thick. They're kind of thick. And then this part, I think I was going to use this as like what you wrap around the middle part of the bow, but it's obviously too long and too thick, and I think I ended up wanting to do white anyways to make the bow more black and white. But when it comes to the bows, you want to cut the little circles in half. I guess this is when I'm going to flatten everything out a little bit, just because I wanted it to be bigger. This was like the biggest ones that I had, so I had to flatten them out a little bit just to make them a little bit bigger. And then that's just me cleaning up the little tails of the bows. But like I was saying, when you're making bows, you want to cut them in half, and then you're going to kind of put them back together and then kind of wrap them around each other. And that's pretty much it. It's actually really easy. And then you take a piece and you wrap it around the two to, you know, put them together. And so that's what that black piece was right here on the left side. I did curl up the bottoms of both of them so that it could stand up on my cake. But like I said, it was a little too big, a little too long. I did cut it down, but then after I did it, I was like, you know what? I think I want white. I think that's a little too much black for this black and white cake. So I was like, let me go ahead and just make this portion white, so that I can add this as the middle part of the bow, so I can finish it off and just give it a little extra something. And because this part was so small and I got kind of chunky fingers, I ended up just using a clay tool to kind of push it together so that I didn't mess it up on the back side. And it came out too cute. Look at that. And it sits up by itself as well. And so I am going to use some more of that silicone glue to glue my bow to the cake. I am going to put the bow and as you can see, I put the bow together with the tail so that it could all be one piece when I put it on there. But like I said, I am going to use silicone glue to glue it on there. It is all still wet, but this is just like a safety measure. I don't want it to ever come off, so I like to use silicone glue just as a safety precaution. So I am using some chunky like gold glitter to give the bow a little bit more character. So right now I'm just taking some glossy Mod Podge. You can use glossy, matte, doesn't matter. The purpose of this is so that the not sprinkles, but the glitter sticks, because the air dry clay has dried and it wouldn't stick to it at this point. As you can see, there are a couple more embellishments on the cake. I cannot find that footage to save my life, but I did just use some molds and white air dry clay to do that. So now I'm going to show you how to do an actual busted canvas. Some of this footage is going to be with this particular project, and then some of this footage is going to be something else because I lost that footage as well. So yeah, I got to do better. So you start off by just deciding what you want to cover both sides of the canvas with. So I got this bag. It's just like a gift bag from Dollar Tree. Because it was gold, that's the reason why I wanted to use it, to kind of tie in the gold from the gold glitter that I actually put on the bow. And so this is what I'm going to end up putting on the inside of the canvas, so that when I bust the canvas open, this part will come through the canvas, and you'll see what I mean by that. So basically just kind of cutting it down until it fits inside of the canvas, and then I'm going to use some Mod Podge to glue it down. I'm basically going to be decoupaging it. And again, this is one of those moments where it doesn't necessarily really matter what you use. You can use glossy Mod Podge, you can use matte Mod Podge. It's kind of up to you if you want it to have a little bit of gloss to it or not. I kind of like my stuff a little glossy, so I normally use gloss Mod Podge on majority of my projects. So I put a thick amount of Mod Podge on there because this is not like this is like a paper bag. It's kind of thick. It's not like tissue paper or anything like that. So you want to put a decent amount on there, and then we're going to seal it with another layer of Mod Podge on top. And then you basically want to let that dry before you start trying to bust the canvas open. And so since we did do the inside, and it is like it's not going to touch the table, we can go ahead and do the top as well. And so I found this really pretty like black satin, I guess, material from Dollar Tree as well. And it's the perfect size. It's even going to leave me a little bit extra so that I can use later on at a different time. And so I just kind of figure out how I want it to go. I do want it to go around the whole canvas. So I'm cutting it bigger than the canvas so that I can always cut it down later. And so I'm pretty much going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to grab some of that Mod Podge and put the Mod Podge on the canvas. And then I'm going to put the canvas onto the fabric right there. The only thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to put Mod Podge on the top of the fabric because, I don't know, I just like the texture of the fabric, and the Mod Podge would change that. So I am using hot glue to glue that out, like the excess of the material on there, because like I said, I wanted it to go all around the entire canvas. I didn't want you to see any of the white part of the canvas. And you don't have to use hot glue here. You can use like a stronger glue if you want to. But I figured that hot glue would work perfectly fine for just this particular part. I didn't feel like it was going to, come off or anything like that. And so far it's held up. I haven't had any issues with the hot glue right here. But you can always use, a stronger glue if you're afraid that it might come apart or, anything like that. So like I said, you do want the Mod Podge to dry before going to the next step. So while it is drying, I am taking some napkin paper that I found at Dollar Tree that I want to put around the background of the cake because the background was so boring. So I am just taking that Mod Podge, putting it on there, and I'm taking different pieces of it because obviously the cake is there, so I can't just do what I did with the other pieces of canvas. I have to kind of like piece it together on here so that I can go around the cake. So that's pretty much all I'm doing, just figuring out where I want to put, different parts of the napkin. And then I'm putting Mod Podge on that area. And then I set the napkin down and, just kind of go on from there. Once I pretty much get all of the canvas covered, then that's when I'm going to go back with the Mod Podge and seal everything down. And I do want to say, when you're at Dollar Tree, you want to look through every section of Dollar Tree because you never know what you can actually DIY with. Like I said, these are just napkins. I think I found these in the party section, and because my craft was, black, white, and gold, I just happened to see these one day and was like, you know what? This will be a perfect background for the cake. Not too much. It's not too busy, but it does, add a little something to the back of the cake. So when you're going to Dollar Tree, don't just go in the crafting aisle. Like, look through all the aisles because you can always find something that you never expected that you can actually use to craft with and, use it on your craft. So just a rule of thumb or something that I usually do. I go down all the aisles. It takes me a while to get out of Dollar Tree personally, but, that's just me. And as you can see, this part took a lot of time. It took a lot of precision because I kind of wanted to get it right. If I did this over, I would probably go ahead and put this down before doing the cake. But when I started this project, I didn't know that I was going to want to add something to the background of the cake. I was going to leave it white, just kind of blank, but after a while it just kind of looked boring to me, and so that's why I ended up adding it at the end. But if I did this cake again or something similar, I would definitely do the background first and then start doing, the cake. I know this video is a little bit longer than my videos normally are when I'm doing only one project, but if you've made it this far, please put it in the comments. You are a rock star. I appreciate you so much. This is hands down one of my absolute favorite projects in person. I think it's so beautiful. I don't know how well a picture captures it, but I really hope you're enjoying this because I love this project. It's my favorite. And so now we're just going to let this dry. And while this is drying, we're going to go ahead and start busting open the canvas. So as you can see, it's obviously dry on both sides, and that's what you want. So I'm going to find like an X-Acto, not X-Acto knife, like an X-Acto knife would be great. I couldn't find mine, so I just used like a razor. And what you want to do is you want to start off using that to using like a razor or something like that. Once you get the slit going from one direction and then the other direction like that, then you can always grab scissors like I just did and kind of finish it off and do all the other cuts. But it's a lot harder to start it with scissors. It's best to start it with an X-Acto knife or some type of razor or something like that. And you can do a busted canvas like however you want. You don't have to do as many cuts as I did. You can only do the first 2 cuts that I did, or you can do more, cuts. It doesn't matter. A busted canvas is kind of whatever you want to do. And yeah, so this is me doing a busted canvas with a different project because I can't find the footage of me completing this one, and I apologize for that. It's probably somewhere, I just can't find it. But you do, like I said, you want to start with the cutting of everything, and then once you do that, you want to go ahead and glue the busted canvas portion on top of the other portion. So I just use hot glue. You can use any type of glue. Actually, hot glue has stood up a very long time. None of my busted canvases have come apart with just using hot glue, but you can always use a stronger glue just to be safe. And then at this point, you just start to curve them around. With this part, I feel as though the best thing to use is hot glue because you want it to set fast. Otherwise, it won't stay. And I don't know. I mean, maybe there's a way you can do it. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but this is the best way I do it. I do it with hot glue, and it just kind of works out that way. You have to allow it to dry or almost dry before you let go. Otherwise, the hot glue will come apart, or, come apart from where you had put it, and it won't, be a busted canvas. So you pretty much just do that same thing all the way around. You can pull it as much as you want or as little as you want. I guess it kind of depends on what's underneath it. If it's something like a small picture, then you don't need to really roll the top canvas as much because you don't need to uncover a lot. But when it comes to like this picture here, obviously it's a big picture underneath, so you want to be able to see majority of the picture underneath. So as you can see, I'm kind of rolling it as much as I can. I did the exact same thing with the busted canvas with regards to my cake, because the cake was a 3D cake. I needed the canvas to come out, bust out as much as possible so that it's not covering the cake. But again, I apologize, I don't have the footage for that one, but once this is complete, I will show it again so that you're able to see it and you can definitely understand what I ended up doing with that one. But this is another busted canvas project that I did, which I absolutely love. So cute, turned out amazing. If you want to see this one all the way through, just let me know and I can always do one for that. But this is the final reveal. Oh my god, it came out so cute. I love this so much. It's a great Mother's Day gift, so if you want to make one, definitely make one. If you want me to make one, like do a commission, I can always do that. Just let me know. But I do want to say thank you so much for watching my video. This was a long video. Please do not forget to like. Please do not forget to subscribe. Please do not forget to comment. And as always, keep it sweet and keep it creative.